After spending the morning at Akrotiri Marsh, photographing marsh harriers, a lesser spotted eagle, and a kestrel, as you can see in part 1, check the link in the description, I grabbed a quick bite in the car and headed straight for the Limassol Mountains, hoping to track down the majestic Griffon vultures. I won't be revealing the exact location of this site, as the Griffon vultures in Cyprus are currently under a strict conservation program. Their population has critically declined over the last few decades, and they are now facing a high risk of extinction. Protecting their nesting and feeding grounds from disturbance is vital for their recovery. I hadn't been driving for long when I spotted them. On the distant horizon, 7 Griffon vultures were soaring through the air. Seeing 7 of these giants at once is incredible, especially considering how rare they are in Cyprus. The distance was just too great, and the heavy cloud cover didn't help with getting clear photos. Even the footage you're seeing now was a struggle. My camera's autofocus was fighting to lock onto them against the gray sky. So, I got back into my car, keeping my eyes fixed on the vultures. I started moving again, hoping to find a better vantage point for a clearer shot and praying for the clouds to break and reveal some light. A little further down the road, I found a spot to pull over. I got out, crossed to the other side, and walked through a field to reach the edge of the cliff. From there, I kept a close watch on the horizon where I'd last seen the vultures. I realized they were circling above a series of steep, jagged cliffs, and I scanned the rocks, hoping to spot them again after they had vanished from the open sky. The deep crevices of these steep, inaccessible cliffs provide the perfect sanctuary for vultures. However, the vast distance and the way their plumage blends perfectly with the color of the rocks make them nearly impossible to spot, especially when they remain motionless against the cliff face. But, as I've said before, if you have patience, nature will eventually reward you. Suddenly, I caught a flicker of movement. A Griffon vulture coming in for a landing on a ledge high up the cliff face. Just seconds later, the cliff seemed to come alive. More vultures began to emerge from the deep crevices of the rocks, stepping out from the shadows where they had been hiding in plain sight. I was thrilled to have found so many vultures gathered together in such a stunning natural setting. But as a photographer, I'm always looking for a better angle. So, I decided to head back to the car and continue the drive, hoping for an even closer perspective. I drove as far as the track would take me and then decided to continue on foot. As I was walking, I sensed some movement behind me. I turned around quickly, and there it was, not a vulture, but a long-legged buzzard passing through. It was an unexpected guest, gliding silently over the rugged landscape. I took a moment to rest and just soak in the scenery. The gentle breeze through the trees and the bird song around me, it was pure magic. The vultures remained inactive, and from this new perspective, they were even harder to find. But then, I caught a glimpse of a silhouette perched right on the edge of a massive cliff. Not a vulture, but a Peregrine Falcon. I only realized it once I checked the zoom on my camera. I decided to move on and found a new spot to sit and wait. Finally, I tracked them down again. This time, the distance was perfect and the sky had cleared. With the sun low on the horizon, its golden light hit them, turning their feathers into a fiery orange. In Cyprus, we describe them with an ancient Greek word, Pyrochroi, which literally means fire-colored. As the setting sun hits their plumage, You can see exactly why they earned this name. They truly look like they are glowing with fire. I'm going to stop talking for a moment so you can just enjoy the photos and footage I captured. But stay tuned, because I've saved the best for the very end. As the sun began to sink behind the mountain ridges, I finally made my way back, filled with the incredible emotions that only nature can provide after a day like this. But wait, the journey isn't over. I have one last thing to show you. I decided to dedicate some more time on Sunday to tracking down even more vultures. So, early that morning, I headed to the Episkopi Cliffs, a breathtaking sight where the mountains meet the sea. Even though it's mid-February, the day felt like summer. This unexpected heat makes long-distance photography with high magnification lenses extremely challenging. The rising heat shimmer blurs the details and makes it nearly impossible for the autofocus to lock onto the subject. I waited patiently near the cliffs until noon, and finally, my persistence paid off. 3 Griffon vultures appeared, gliding majestically through the shimmering midday air. For most of the time, they kept their distance, circling far above the cliffs. At one point, they glided past me towards the opposite ridges, but I couldn't get a decent shot. However, on their way back, they flew incredibly close to my position. This was the moment I was waiting for, though I struggled with my gear. Using a fixed 800mm lens made it tough to frame them at such short range. A zoom lens would have been ideal here, but I still managed to capture some great close-ups. Thoroughly satisfied with these shots, I watched the vultures glide away before heading back to my car. I truly hope you enjoyed my weekend wildlife stories. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay tuned for more. With appreciation, World by Savvas.